guys? Welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today in the Ask SSM video series, got an email from a subscriber. This guy sounds like he's in his early 30s, and he's writing in to ask for my advice as well as you guys. So some serious audience participation today for advice dealing with his bro. His friend and roommate about a year or so ago started dating and getting involved with a single MOM. And let me tell you, based on the story, she is pretty much the worst of the worst. I'm talking pretty much every single negative stereotype there is, and yet his buddy here just can't seem to get rid of her. As in, she's got her claws in him. And of course, this is his fault, but still. And our guy here has been repeatedly trying to help him, saying, she's terrible, she's trouble, it is a disaster, get out. And the guy keeps going back to her. And it's this point now, he's wondering, what do I do? Because he deeply cares about his friend, and he's loyal. But obviously this is wearing on the guy. So I'm going to go through this guy's email here. You're going to see exactly what I'm talking about all the negative stereotypes here. Just once again warning you about the single MOMs. And again, disclaimer, doesn't mean they're all this way, but there are plenty that in all sorts of degrees are just trouble and just simply not worth it if you want a family. So I'm going to go through this and give him my well-needed response. He says, hello SSM. I'm a big fan of your videos and the lessons that you teach, many of which I implement into my own daily life. I definitely have a few smack-worthy stories of my own, but that is for another time. However, I need your advice and the community on what to do with my friend who's going down a very bad path with a single MOM that he is dating. My friend, he's 32 years old, and I are roommates living an hour outside of a major U.S. city on the West Coast. My condolences. He is currently enrolled in a medical technician program. That's where he met Linda, a 35-year-old female. Aha, she's older than him. Already. A mistake. Linda has 2 children, an 11-year-old female and a 6-year-old male, and was previously married before her husband passed away almost a decade ago. Well, that's terrible, and that's usually where some guys can have an exception, saying, okay, the husband passed away, who knows by what means, so obviously she didn't screw it up, or there wasn't a very bad thing going on there because he passed away. But you're going to see, obviously this woman's a train wreck. And by the way, he says 2 kids, and the husband passed away 10 years ago. Well, how did that 6-year-old come along? So clearly both her kids come from 2 different fathers already. Shocker. They met at school and started out as friends and study partners, but things eventually escalated to them having casual hookups. After about 6 months, they became exclusive and began a relationship. Smack! Okay, I should have smacked him for dating the older chick, but also with kids. But anyhow, you can't go from a friends with benefits, casual hookups, to actually a relationship. It doesn't work that way. You can't turn an HOE into a housewife. You know, if she had any self-respect, had any kind of, decent qualities, she would actually want to be dating the guy, wouldn't just be casual friends with benefits, coming over for a booty call at, 10 o'clock at night when the grandparents have the kids. That's just not a good way to go, and you're going to see. However, during these 6 months, she casually admitted to being very promiscuous in her past, even having threesomes with men and women. Oh yeah, this is great relationship material. And past. Something tells me the past and the present are probably pretty close. So, 2 baby daddies, she's older than him, very promiscuous past, and doing all sorts of group activities. That's fine for friends with benefits, or, casual hookups if you're careful, but relationships, no way. She also, we're not done yet, she also has anger issues and admitted to stabbing someone during a road rage incident. Shit, is she from Florida? Keying an ex's car, destroying her brother's television, and offing a pet iguana because her kids didn't want to take care of it. What the fuck? To me, the worst thing on this whole list is offing the iguana. Let it go out in the fucking bushes. And he's involved with this chick? Clearly the hot crazy scale. How hot can she be? She's in her mid-30s at this point, popped out 2 children. and that's what he knows about. After 2 months, Linda told Doug he should move in with her and her kids and would have a baby with him, despite previously mentioning she didn't want any more children. Yeah, what a great idea. Guys, you all recall from many stories what happens to guys that move in with a girl on her turf. Sounds to me she's moving in a babysitter. That's what's going on. A guy that can help pay her bills and watch her kids, and I'm going to guess probably the odds are the kids don't treat him very well. Terrible idea. She also frequently stays over at our place for 2 to 3 days in a row, away from her children to study. That ain't cool. Okay, is she chipping in for the rent? Is she chipping in for the utilities, the food? This is your place, and she's there 2 to 3 days a week, usually a third to almost 50% of the time. Bullshit. I'd be drawing up some serious boundaries, my man. And by the way, I'm sure she could tell you don't like her. My friend eventually met her friends, who are late 30s to early 40s, divorced with children. Oh, so all her friends are in her age range, are a bunch of single MOMs too. But I tell you about paying attention to her friends, whose hobbies include going to bars with their kids, getting drunk, and having men buy them drinks. They're taking their kids to the bars. These are fucking lowlifes. This is where my friend found out that Linda has a drinking problem and often gets sloppy drunk, and one time even disrespected him in front of her friends because he wouldn't drive an hour to go to a bar and hang out with them. So now he, aside from her trying to get to be her manservant, now she's publicly disrespecting him. And why is your bro still with her? Clearly your bro has esteem issues. Maybe he's in his 30s and thinking, this is as good as it's going to get. Probably she's wild in the sack. That's great and all, but guess what? That's a small percentage of an actual relationship or of your time. I wouldn't even begun to get anywhere close to where your buddy here in this situation, as with many of you guys. The second I found she's a single MOM, goodbye. But after all this crap, and now she's publicly disrespecting him, and let's not forget her offing in a pet iguana because she wanted to take care of it, and anger issues and drinking issues, and now he's letting her disrespect him. What do you think? You think this is going to be a healthy relationship in the future? You think she's not going to cheat on him? You think she's not going to be getting pregnant with other dudes' babies, amongst many other things? On the anniversary of her husband's death, she took the kids to do a memorial service for him. However, later that night, she got drunk, shocker, with one of these friends and drove into the city. And got even more drunk, got a tattoo and several piercings on her nipples and her hoo-ha. Her explanation was that she was sad and wanted to replace the emotional pain with physical pain. Oh joy, she's a keeper. A few months later, I saw the direction Doug was heading in, and we had a serious talk about their relationship. The next day, he broke things off. And he says this in air quotes. She cried and cried, Hobag Handbook Chapter 2, and he agreed they could still be friends. Smack! Still be friends. You can't still be friends with somebody you've broken up with. Come on here. She's just going to weasel her way back into his heart. Not his brain, because he has no brain. I told Doug this was a bad idea, and as men and women, let alone exes, cannot be friends. He told me over and over they were different and wouldn't sleep together. Please, that's how she roped you in to begin with. That's how she's been keeping you all this time. Do you think it's because of her charming personality or her future prospects that's keeping him going along? It's the pussy, dumbass. He says, at SSM, if you can believe it, they were hooking up again, and it was back to business as usual. Shocker. Linda promised she would change. Hobag Handbook Chapter 3. She'd get therapy, get rid of her friends, and stop drinking. Yeah, something tells me she probably did none of these things. She even said that she'd be willing to move further from the city if Doug would move in with her. But 2 months later, no therapy, and she's still drinking. Big surprise. And let me guess, she still hangs out with those other gals that are just like her. Why should she make any change? She knows this guy ain't going anywhere. She has his number. And she's going to treat him worse now, knowing that he broke up with her temporarily, but caved and took her back. Now she's going to act even worse. My final straw was the other day when Doug told me he dropped her off at the airport because she's going to Miami for a few days for her brother's fiance's bachelorette party, where she is the maid of honor. Oh, going to Miami? Her coming down to Miami? Yeah, that's a great idea. She said they're going to go partying, clubbing, going on a yacht, and there's going to be male strippers. Yeah, we all know what happens at those bachelorette parties with the male strippers. How does she expect to get on a yacht? Really? A mid-30s chick who popped out a few kids. You think, yeah, there are a lot of very, very wealthy guys down in Miami, or guys that are pretending to be wealthy, and they try to get these gals from the bars and the clubs to come on the yachts, or these gals, and they try to hit on these rich guys to go on their yachts. It's like I know a gal that used to pull this crap back in her 20s, down in Miami, kid you not, because she was good looking, so were her friends. And they find these suckers, and they go on their boats or their yachts. Mid-30s, she's going to get some guy to take her on the yacht. I think this brother of hers is going to get cheated on, but that's his problem. Doug told her he doesn't want her to go, but she accused him of not trusting her, so he caved. Smack! Of course he caved, and of course he doesn't trust her, and all she had to pull that, you don't trust me, you're being insecure. Why would he trust her? Really? She promised to call him twice a day and not drink too much. What about those promises that she would get therapy, stop drinking, stop hanging out with her friends? Really? I snapped and yelled at him. Good for you. He needs it. I told him he should have some self-respect and that he was being stupid, but it went in one ear and out the other. How do I convince him that this chick is bad news before he does something stupid? Before he does something stupid, he's been doing never-ending things that have been stupid. I love this guy like a brother, so any advice would be appreciated. Thank you. Well, bro, you are a good friend. You have been trying and trying and trying. Even having this chick at your house a few days a week, which is a terrible idea. I would have never tolerated that shit. What can you do? Honestly, at this point, bro, nothing. You have tried. This has been going on for like a year. Your friend is completely pee-whipped. He's mesmerized by whatever she's doing for him in the sack, and I can only imagine what she's doing for him in the sack. You've tried. You've spoken to him, I'm sure, countless times. One ear out the other. He's that type of friend. So at this point, obviously you care, and I respect your loyalty and respect that you care. And I'm doing this video because a lot of guys, probably in this situation, they have some dude in their life they know that's similar to this. They want to help. Since you're loyal and you care about him, I would say one more time, you sit him down and have a serious conversation with her. Explain the type of person she is, the trouble that she is. She's making you look like a complete jackass. She'll never be loyal. I'm sure she's cheating on you. Do you really want someone like this that's an alcoholic, anger problems, this whole history here as a girlfriend, potential, I don't know, a future with? Really? I'd go into the whole thing about single moms and all that. And at that point then, also I might add, I'd point out to my channel. Although he probably would hate me because I'm telling him things he probably doesn't want to hear. And that'd be that. And then I would say, at this point, man, I'm not going to be involved. And that's what I think you should do. Have one more conversation with him because he's your friend, you care about him, and that's that. And that point on, if he completely lets himself be destroyed, cheated on, heartbroken, all that, you've done your part. You've done your part countless times, okay? You can, like the saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink it. All right? And I'm sure and I've had this experience, and I'm sure many of you guys, where you try to help a friend, no matter what you do or say, they don't want to see reality. So let him fail. Let him crash and burn. And then when he's finally hurting and realize that he was wrong, then perhaps you can give him a second chance and try to help him out. You know, you don't need to rub salt in the wound or anything like that. Unless by you saying this, he starts getting really defensive, insulting you. Then when he comes back, you can rub a little salt in a few "I told you so," because he needs this. But this guy, he's like a lot of guys out there. I gotta wonder, does he have a very low self-esteem? Did he grow up in a household where there's a lot of turmoil going on? So he's used to turmoil. He expects turmoil. You know, all sorts of things. I question about him and his character and all that. Has he had very bad experience? Is he terrible with women? Is this that maybe the best he's gotten in terms of like a gal in the looks department ever? These are all important questions. And I'm willing to bet a whole lot of money that this guy probably has not exactly very smooth with the ladies. He probably doesn't have a whole lot of experience with girls, probably esteem issues. So, you know, he's got the rose-tinted glasses on about her and just refuses to accept reality. So she's a piece of garbage, but he's an idiot, and he's a grown-ass man. So I would say one more thing. Say you got to say, and that's it. And say, I'm not going to say anything else, and that's it. And I might add also that at this point also I would make serious boundaries. I don't want her staying here anymore. Period. This is ridiculous. I was tolerating this for a while. This is my apartment. I don't have to keep coming out to have breakfast in the morning and see her there 2 to 3 days a week, or her holding up the shower or the bathroom or stuff like that. No. Otherwise, she's going to start chipping in. And it may be possible he's like, fine. And he goes off and moves in with her. Then you let him. There's a point, guys, you got to let your friends or family fail. Just like a parent. Sometimes a parent has to let their kid fall down, get hurt, learn that you can't do this, can't do that. And they learn, and then you're there to help them get back up, and hopefully learn. If not, so that's what I think. You can't save them all. I hope that maybe your last speech to him gets through, or he goes through with this with her, and who knows what happens, but it ain't gonna end well. We all know that. And then learn something, and then you can help him out. But I wouldn't be wasting too much energy on him at this point. I think, honestly, the way you're describing it, the only way he's going to truly get it is if he gets burned bad. And that burning could be simply being cheated on and have his heart broken. Or guess what? She's pregnant. I'm waiting for that to rope him in, whether it's his kid or not, and there you go. But it's his life. You are not. You need to take care of you, because you're spending, obviously, a lot of time and energy dealing with him, and I'm sure it's very taxing. You've got to take care of yourself. That's what I think. And that's what I think for all you guys out there that have a friend that's just like this in the situation. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Please let this guy know what you think. Let him know in the comment section if you yourself are presently dealing with a friend or a brother or somebody just like this. Whether you've had success or not, let him know what you did, how to go, and hopefully we can help him out. I want this guy to be all right. I really do. But I also know some of these types are just have their heads so far up their asses and are so stubborn, and they're so hypnotized by the hoo-ha. Until they crash and burn and learn the hard way, they're not going to learn. That's what I think. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.